para venderte algo al final, está totalmente equivocado. Esto no tiene nada que ver con tigriño, casino o cualquier tipo de apuesta. Todo esto sirve para que te vuelvas adicto y te robe tu dinero. Esto que te estoy mostrando es algo serio. Una empresa seria quiere tu ayuda para responder encuestas de los anunciantes que pagan para YouTube todos los días. Y hoy prácticamente todas las grandes empresas pagan para anunciar en YouTube. Y estoy hablando de empresas billonarias como Samsung, Netflix, Coca-Cola, Mercado Libre y muchas otras. YouTube necesita ofrecer el mejor resultado posible para estos anunciantes, porque estas grandes empresas generan un lucro de millones para YouTube todos los meses. Por eso, YouTube quiere pagarte 200, 400 y hasta $800 todos los días para responder algunas preguntas de esos anunciantes, porque eso ni se acerca a lo que YouTube gana con esas empresas. Y para que tengas una idea, más de 300,000 anuncios se hacen todos los días en YouTube. Entonces, $800 por día es un valor mínimo que puedes ganar, porque cuanto más tiempo pases respondiendo estas preguntas, más puedes ganar. Hay gente trabajando para YouTube, respondiendo más de 1000 preguntas al día y al final del mes, ganando más de $50,000 sin salir de casa. Así es, más de $50,000 al mes por responder las encuestas de YouTube. Esto, ciertamente, cambiaría tu vida. Estoy seguro de eso. Ahora, presta mucha atención. Te voy a enseñar cómo puedes ser contratado por YouTube para ayudar a estos anunciantes que generan ganancias de millones de dólares todos los meses para YouTube. Esta nueva herramienta fue liberada hace algunos meses después de que YouTube se reunió con una de las mayores agencias de marketing de Estados Unidos, y un amigo mío que se fue a vivir a California dio la noticia del lanzamiento en un periódico americano y me envió un mensaje diciendo la fecha en que esta herramienta iba a ser liberada para prueba. Él me envió el formulario para que yo también participara en el proceso de selección, y gracias a Dios logré ser una de las primeras personas elegidas para probar esta nueva herramienta. Después de que finalizaron las pruebas, aprobé el uso de la herramienta y fui invitado por ellos para también formar parte del equipo y trabajar como divulgador de la herramienta para atraer nuevos usuarios que estén calificados para trabajar en YouTube. Entonces, es por eso que estás viendo este video ahora, porque si recibiste este video hoy, es porque eres una persona calificada para trabajar para YouTube y ganar 200, 400 o incluso $800 todos los días por responder algunas preguntas. Creo que este fue uno de los grandes pasos que YouTube dio para mejorar el rendimiento de sus anuncios. Además, tengo una gran noticia para darte. En este preciso momento ya tienes esta herramienta instalada en tu celular, porque fue añadida en la última actualización de YouTube. De hecho, ya has accedido a ella antes de entrar en este video. Estoy hablando de las preguntas que respondiste hace un momento. Ellas forman parte de una etapa de verificación para ver si YouTube estaba actualizado, y tú pasaste con éxito esa etapa. Ahora, mi principal objetivo es mostrarte cómo puedes acceder a esta herramienta, donde y cuando quieras, para ganar ríos de dinero todos los días, mientras ayudas a YouTube a hacer que sus anuncios sean más eficientes y más atractivos para el público en general. Echa un vistazo a lo que dijo María Luisa.
Mira, entre todos mis amigos y familiares, este video solo me apareció a mí y a mi hermano Roberto. Fuimos los únicos en nuestra familia que fuimos seleccionados para seguir los pasos de la verificación y ver el video para recibir acceso a la herramienta. Mi hermano cometió el error más grande de su vida, que fue cerrar el video antes de llegar al final, y ya no tenía acceso a la herramienta. Entonces, como yo vi lo que estaba pasando, yo fui más inteligente y miré el video hasta el final, lo cual me permitió y pude obtener el acceso a la herramienta. Entonces, mientras más analizas, más ganas, y el monto mínimo de retiro es de $1. Yo retiré 2 veces, y aquí en la pantalla les dejo el comprobante de los retiros que yo hice. Tan pronto como tengas la oportunidad de comenzar con la herranta, utilízala, úsala bien y no desperdicies esta oportunidad, ya que esta oportunidad fue la que nos cayó del cielo para cambiar mi vida.
Y puedes estar tranquilo, porque al fin y al cabo es el propio YouTube quien va a intermediar los pagos. Estamos hablando de una empresa seria, renombrada, que quiere tu ayuda y que te recompensará por ello. La verdad es que no, todo el mundo que usa YouTube está teniendo acceso a la herramienta. Son solo las personas calificadas y seleccionadas, y si has llegado hasta aquí, es porque entre millones de personas que usan YouTube todos los días, has sido uno de los pocos seleccionados. Y puede parecer que YouTube está tirando dinero, pagándote 200, 400, incluso $800 todos los días, pero tienes que entender que YouTube factura miles de millones de dólares todos los años. Es una ganancia de millones cada mes, y todo esto es porque las grandes empresas como Apple, Netflix, Coca-Cola, Amazon, entre cientos de otras, anuncian sus marcas en YouTube. Entonces, todo lo que ella quiere es aumentar al máximo los resultados de los anuncios de estas empresas, mostrándolos a los principales compradores. Pero ahora déjame contarte una cosa. Cuando finalizamos las pruebas de la herramienta, conseguí acceso para mi hermano, que estaba desempleado y pasando por varios problemas. Hoy, él está trabajando con YouTube cerca de 4 horas por día y consigue ganar más de $2,000. Él me estaba contando ayer por WhatsApp que esta semana compró el coche nuevo que tanto soñaba y que estaba muy feliz porque había pasado por muchas dificultades en la vida y nunca imaginó que podría salir de ese apuro. Pero lo más importante es que si yo, que era motoboy y trabajaba arriesgando mi vida bajo la lluvia, logré cambiar de vida, tú, que tendrás acceso en unos segundos, también podrás cambiar tu realidad y conquistar todo lo que siempre has querido, sin importar los obstáculos que se presenten en el camino hacia el éxito y la realización personal. Ahora que voy a liberar esta nueva herramienta de YouTube para ti, podrás despertarte a la hora que quieras. O mejor aún, ganarás tu dinero mientras aún estás acostado en la cama, porque solo necesitas un celular y acceso a internet, sin marcar tarjeta, sin jefe molesto, sin obligaciones. Apenas tú y tu familia en la comodidad de tu casa. Ahora, la última advertencia y la más importante, y necesito de su comprensión. Muchas personas cierran el video en esta parte y pierden la gran oportunidad oportunidad de cambiar de vida. Cuando pasaste por las etapas de verificación, terminaste con un saldo de $180. Y desde que empecé a divulgar esta nueva herramienta de YouTube, muchos listillos pasaron por estas etapas de verificación, entraron en la herramienta, retiraron este saldo inicial de $180 y cerraron la herramienta para siempre. Ellos retiran el saldo y nunca más responden. Una pregunta. Esto acabó generando muchas cuentas inactivas en la herramienta y obligó a YouTube a crear una forma de detener a esos listillos. Lo que YouTube hizo fue simplemente crear una pequeña tarifa para los nuevos usuarios, pero puedes estar tranquilo porque el valor de esa tarifa volverá a tu cuenta en menos de 10 minutos. Después de que comiences a usar esta herramienta, solo necesitarás alcanzar una meta de 20 preguntas, lo que tomará menos de 1 minuto por pregunta, y pronto podrás retirar tus $180 más la tarifa que pagaste para acceder a la herramienta. De verdad, quería mucho entregar esta herramienta gratis para ti, pero desafortunadamente no puedo. Esa fue la única forma que YouTube encontró para prácticamente entregártela gratis, ya que en menos de 10 minutos recibirás tu tarifa de vuelta directamente en tu cuenta. Además, por supuesto, de los $180 que ganaste por pasar por las etapas de verificación. Y te garantizo que en menos de 10 minutos puedes alcanzar la meta de preguntas sin problemas y retirar el dinero directamente en tu cuenta. A cada pregunta que respondas, tu saldo solo va a aumentar. Hoy mismo, creo que ya puedes retirar al menos $400. Si pasas media hora más respondiendo las preguntas, para que quede más claro, vas a invertir solo $21.90.
Cuando probé esta herramienta al principio también dudé porque había que pagar una tarifa, pero cuando llegaba el dinero decidí arriesgarme, sabiendo que podía pedir la devolución en 30 días y no funcionó. La sorpresa fue que sí pude recuperar la tarifa y los $180 a completar el paso de verificación. Es muy rápido de lograr. Al final no tardé más de 30 minutos en retirar la tarifa y los $180 ganados. Te lo recomiendo, es fácil y inténtalo sin miedo. Me ayudó mucho.
Y te lo diré de nuevo, a los $180 que ya has ganado. Antes de ver este video, este saldo se liberará después de que respondas la meta de 20 preguntas, lo cual no tomará ni 10 minutitos. Y ahora, en este preciso momento, aparecerá un botón debajo del video que dice quiero pagar la tasa, pero no toques el botón si no tienes interés en pagar la tasa. Ahora, si quieres cambiar de vida y ganar al menos $400 aún hoy, solo toca el botón de abajo. Serás redirigido a una página de pago asociada con YouTube y totalmente segura, donde tendrás dos opciones para realizar el pago de la tarifa, PayPal y tarjeta de crédito, y recibes el acceso inmediato usando cualquiera de estas dos opciones. Hoy mismo realizas el pago, recuperas tu tarifa y más $180 en menos de 10 minutos. Y si te quedas media horita más respondiendo algunas preguntas, puedes ganar más de $400 fácilmente. Solo eso ya suma más de $600. Eso ya es la mitad del salario que la mayoría de las personas recibe por trabajar duro un mes entero. En menos de 30 días te garantizo que ya habrás ganado al menos $10,000 solo usando esta herramienta. Tener la libertad financiera que siempre quisiste y vivir la vida que siempre soñaste, poder estar a solo unos pasos de distancia de hacerse realidad. Solo tienes que tocar el botón de abajo para realizar el pago de la tarifa. Y poco después, un equipo de soporte especializado de YouTube se pondrá en contacto contigo. En menos de 2 minutitos ya estarás con ella activada y listo para usar. Además, si tienes alguna duda o queja, puedes llamar a este mismo soporte que estará disponible 24 horas para ayudarte. Te garantizo que ellos te responderán en segundos. Por eso, intenta al menos acceder a la herramienta, probarla y ver si realmente tiene sentido para ti. Si no te gusta, solo responde las 20 preguntas y listo. En menos de 10 minutos recuperas tu tarifa y aún usas...
They want to charge me 500 pesos for something. Yeah. I knew it. But no. No. Let's go back here. There's something more or less interesting. Elon Musk, Gurdjieff, the Doors, vampires. Drake versus Kendrick. All right. I'm going to bite.
Writing essays, but here are my marks for them. So bestie, I'm going to tell it to you straight. Personally, I prefer using Grammarly when it comes to writing essays because it has my favorite feature here where you can ask it to give you a research.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been following this, maybe not. I just realized how
and we'll just
white this one is. I mean, it's pop culture. You probably heard about it. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching this whole Drake and Kendrick.
I have no idea who Drake is nor Kendrick.
My.
I am vaguely involved in
What
rapping.
a time to be alive.
I did some videos for some rappers.
All right, so Drake
some scripts for some videos for some rappers.
Kendrick.
So Very,
They are
very
rappers,
vaguely
sir.
involved.
They're rappers. Okay, just.
Not really that interesting.
I want to make sure everybody. And I'm not acting like I know. You might bump Kendrick all the time. You might be a big Pimp a Butterfly fan. You know, I'm just checking.
But I really want to just play Baldur's Gate, and
So
it bores me to play it without.
Drake and Kendrick's relationship actually goes back way further than people realize, because Drake brought Kendrick with him on tour when Kendrick was like just starting to pop, but Drake was already a big deal, right? And it seemed like they were cool. You see these old interviews, they're in pictures together, they have such nice things to say about each other, and then along the line, something changed. Something happened. And we don't know what that thing is really, but they both started to kind of like go at each other in small ways. And some people take it all the way back to the Control verse. Kendrick did a verse in a song on, it was actually a Big Sean song. Big Sean is a rapper, sir. I just want to, all of these are just names, and I want to make sure that we're all up to speed. So he did a verse on a Big Sean song called Control, but it blew up so much it became Kendrick's verse. It became the Control verse.
The reason
which is crazy. And in that
verse,
he went at everybody. He said he called people out by
name.
Like, you know? And he said, I got love for you all, but I'm trying to murder you. I'm trying to make sure that your fans don't even love you anymore. They love me so much. I'm coming for the crown. I'm coming for everything, right? And just about everybody thought that it was actually pretty dope. It was actually like, okay, hip-hop as a sport. Like hip-hop as, you know, a fun thing, a contest to see who's actually the best, because everybody calls themselves the best on every song. Eventually, someone has to be the best. You know, every rapper believes that they're the best, and they say so in their music. A lot like how one city will have several First Baptist churches. When you look around, you're like, one of y'all has to actually be first, right? This can't, how can y'all even all claim to be first? This is confusing. You know? And so releases the Control verse. Now, this is something, maybe this is where it started. It's where a lot of people say it started, but maybe it was something else. But Drake seemed to take some sort of issue with the love that Kendrick was getting for that verse, with him being called out, even though he's someone that helped, you know, Kendrick out in the beginning. But even in interviews, Kendrick explained himself. He said, like, this is a contest to see who's the best. It's all love, right? But Drake has, I'm trying to be fair. Drake has a lot of feelings, and you can tell because he has a lot of albums. And there are feelings on every one of those albums. And some people don't have several albums worth of feelings. Some people only have 4 or 5 albums worth of feelings, you know? And some people decide when to let it out, and he just lets it out on a pretty tight schedule, a pretty regimented schedule of release to let out all of his feelings, you know? And he said, he's like, I just didn't like it. It didn't feel sincere. I just didn't vibe with the whole thing, because then I saw him later and he was all nice to me. Yeah. He said in his interview it was all love, it's just a contest. And then from there they had like a weirdness. And then there's like little things. You can listen to certain songs where Drake seems to be like digging right at Kendrick, but in a way where you have to really look at it and wonder, right? Not saying his name. And then Kendrick even does a little bit of the same. But even after a little bit of this had kicked off, they still worked together 1 or 2 more times, right? Because Drake was on Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick's album, and Kendrick was on Take Care. So there's still at least a professional relationship there to some degree, right? Fast forward a few years, and Drake's really big. And when I say really big, he's like what Bad Bunny is now, he was back then, like top in the world, right? Everybody wanted to be Drake. Everybody wanted to sing a little bit of Drake. He was #1 on Spotify. Every time he released, it was a big deal. And so some people, admittedly, were very jealous of Drake. You know, there were people who started to go at Drake a little bit. And Drake is a good writer. He may have writers that he works with. He may have... But he's also good. It's like when he's making music, everyone in the room is good. That's... I'm trying to give him his I'm trying to be objective, and y'all are trying to lean me in a way that's...
Cleaned out the fork.
But he's good, and so, you know, Meek Mill is a rapper. Sorry, Meek Mill... Because that one wasn't a name. I just want to make sure that at no point you don't think that this is like punctuation or anything. Because the names are going to get weirder as I go, right? Okay.
So theoretically,
Meek Mill came at Drake, and Drake really, truly, even if you hate Drake, Drake destroyed Meek Mill. He destroyed Meek Mill so bad that Meek Mill had to go back to jail just to level out some of that street cred. Because if you remember, Meek Mill went back to jail for a while on like this weird aspect of probation that they even tried to get changed as a law. So then Meek Mill became this like face of changing incarceration and changing the criminal justice system, everything, because he had to do something else for a little while because Drake really ate him up. All right.
Need to get the
so more time passes, and there's still not much between Kendrick and Drake in this moment, right? And then Drake gets into it, and I want to be clear because a lot of people sometimes feel bad for Drake in a way that I want to be clear. He does start a lot of this stuff. He does like have a little thing in a song that implies that your wife is unfaithful, and then when you come at him directly, he's like, what's with all the hate? I'm all love. It's like, no. The best way I can describe it is that Drake kind of fights like a cat. And some rappers fight like dogs. And so, you know, he'll do a little paw and he'll be like, what's the issue? And so Drake went at Pusha T, which was a true mistake. This is the thing about people like Pusha T, right? You don't want to mess with anyone who's actually had a hard life. You know, like, you know, Drake grew up in Canada, grew up with, like, it's just, this is my thing. A lot of people come at Drake for, you know, they come in a way I don't like. They come at him in this like colorism way where it's like, you're not really black because you're half white. I don't roll with any of that. I just truly think, but you see what I'm talking about. I'm not, y'all are trying to get me to do something I'm not doing. I'm just saying it's very hard for a rapper to seem hard, right? When they have not been through what other rappers have been through. Like it's hard to go hard when everybody knows you had health care. Because I'm not saying there aren't hardened criminals in Canada. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that if somebody knows that anytime you were sick, you could call a doctor. It just takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails of like, I'll kill you. It's like, yeah, but if I hurt you, you go to a doctor immediately. Like, so anyway, Kendrick is still off doing his thing, releasing amazing music, but Drake gets into it with Pusha T, which was a mistake because he told Pusha T, he's like, I got more money than you, I got more women than you, I'm more famous than you'll ever be. And then Pusha T said, you have a son. He released the fact that Drake had a son.
So I'm thankful to take you to the run.
Which people didn't know.
Maybe you don't forget it.
On a track
Here's where I get
that's cover was Drake in blackface.
When I get
everything about what
What is
Pusha
pick up?
T
I will only sleep tonight wondering
did
what you
to
would have
Drake
said.
is why
Never
you
have
don't
this
get
out of the man
involved
from
with
first
people
right.
like
So it's
Pusha
here
T.
to
You're like,
you see.
you know, a part of me felt bad for Drake. Drake was probably like jawing at the mouth and everything and
When
didn't
you're
know
proposing,
he'd do research.
proposing. I would have sold nothing without
You
face
know,
eventually.
Drake is sitting there like, guys, I thought we were rhyming. I thought
But I
that
first admitted that I doubted the food that many people
I
regardless.
thought we were making
Save my home from what
music.
it's sure
What
to
is
use.
this?
Here's the problem: is that my
So
father
anyway,
has
now Drake
Ronalds.
perceivably
So
takes
the
care of
times
his son.
I'm sure
And,
knew them as much at this stage as I did.
you know,
They epitomize what I hate about the numbers. Everyone's beneath their status, and if you wish any respect, you must be of their social number.
and so fast forward some more,
Druid.
you would think that Drake had
Druid.
sort of learned his lesson of like, man, I shouldn't throw stones when I might have a lot of kids. And for his part, I will say this, for his part, every time somebody comes at Drake, he does come at them pretty hard, pretty heavy. And he does release music that his fans love, and there are a lot of his fans. I'm saying that's something that I thought about going into this thing, where I was like, he always does really try to like give you something, but what he gives is twofold. What Drake is usually trying to give you that sort of earworm, trying to give you that thing that takes you to
what recourse do
a
you
place
have?
beyond the beef. So now people will still play back to back and songs that were responses to beefs he's had in the past, just as songs to enjoy, you know?
As heir to choose
so
who gets his place. I couldn't stand
this year,
effectively.
Drake and J. Cole started, you know, they started doing appearances together. Like J. Cole would pop up at Drake's concert. And J. Cole is also someone who I genuinely believe is one of the most talented, phenomenal, musically inclined artists that I've encountered. I really enjoy his music. I don't know him as a person, and I think he's amazing, right? So he is on
wonderful. They can't force me out now.
A couple of Drake songs after they appeared together last year, and it made me listen to those songs. I was like, oh, J. Cole, okay, because I admittedly I hadn't listened to Drake in a long time, because I only have a certain amount of feelings.
Thank you. I did it.
I feel like I got pretty far. I feel like I listened to several albums, and then at a certain point, I was like, I feel grown. Like,
that's right. Very well. When I'm the manager of the council, at least I serve as much as Lord Tarnice.
And anyway, they do a song together, and then they do a song called First Person Shooter. And in First Person Shooter, they're going back and forth about how great the era is and how great they are. And First Person Shooter is a fantastic song, right? And then J. Cole in the
as
song,
the lady says, I suppose I've run today operations.
Like,
Keep handling
forgive me if I'm
servants.
getting it wrong, but he
Any
says,
minor problems in my farmland and others on your land.
We're the top,
I also ensure that the taxes are collected and come to the coffers here if you wish to change taxes.
Okay, and then he was like, is
it? Just tell me. Okay.
Is it Kendrick?
A large amount of coin will go into the
me?
building to keep
Because we're the big three, like we started the league.
Keep it in staff.
But right now, I feel like Muhammad Ali.
Estimated will still together say 500
and I
pieces
guess,
per week.
I guess
that,
Kendrick heard that
come to me
and took it as a personal affront.
Every couple of weeks. If there's anything critical, the runner will find you if they can.
I wouldn't have felt that way. Like if two people were like, man, we're the best ever, and Josh is great too, and I wasn't even there, I would be like, oh, thanks. But I'm not built like Kendrick. You know, and so then later we would also find out that apparently Drake tried to get Kendrick on that track. So he knew it was coming up, and he didn't want any part of it. And then I guess he hated that he was mentioned. So then Metro Boomin and Future are rappers that. Because that could have been a label name. I'm not making fun of you at all. I'm just making sure everybody is up to speed, and you're right in front of me. That's all that's happening, right? So Metro Boomin and Future, you know, they release an album called We Don't Trust You, and on it is a track called Like That. Now, Like That is where Kendrick does essentially the control effect on this song. He does a verse that really made me forget it was a song. I don't know what anyone else said on the song, right? And on the song, he says, "Fuck the big three, it's just big me," right? Which is also, hey, I've always said I want to be the best. I've said it from day one. As soon as people started interviewing me, I said I want to be the best. As soon as people started listening to my music, I said I wanted to be the best. This is not out of character for me. This is the same thing I did 10 years ago, right? So just for me, if it were me, if I was one of them, if I was Drake and I heard "Fuck the big three, it's just big me," I also wouldn't take it as a personal affront. Because there were other things in the song where he came at Drake specifically. He didn't really have much for J. Cole. And yeah, it just sat for a while. It sat, and everybody was like, ooh, what are Drake and Cole gonna do? And then Cole was actually, I think, the first one to release. He released this song that he's since taken down called 7 Minute Drill, and he went at Kendrick in the song. And then he took it down, and a lot of people clowned him for it, but it's something that even, I'm not being a revisionist here. I said this when it happened. I was like, I respect the fact that he took it down. Because it's not something he really wanted to do. And the internet is all gas, no brakes. The internet will get you to mess up your life. Do you know what I mean? People you don't know are like, I wouldn't take that if I was you. What you gonna do? Huh? Do something, huh? People who are very safe at home, I wouldn't, if I was you, oh, I'd go at his neck. I'd eat him alive if I was you. Do something, Jermaine, do it. And so he took it down, and he even said, he's like, I didn't feel like doing it, so it's not even good. I kind of just went at him a little bit, and it's true. In the song, he doesn't even say anything that bad. He's just like, one of your albums was boring. I won't even say which one. And then he took it down because he said, I don't know, this felt corny. And I respected the hell out of that. Very few men, grown men, famous men, powerful men, very few ever apologize. Very few ever apologize without being made to, with the threat of losing their money, losing their fame, losing something. Very few men. So I respect that, and people clowned him to no end. But then the actual beef between Drake and Kendrick started, and that was a lot. Because Drake released a song called Push-Ups, and he didn't just go at Kendrick, he went at a bunch of people and, implied that Kendrick's wife was unfaithful, that his son might not be his and everything. And people are like, well, what's Kendrick gonna do? What's gonna happen, right? And then, he releases another song, and this song is AI. This song is Drake with the late Tupac and Snoop Dogg, and it's going at Kendrick. And some people had their feelings about that. But then, oof. On a random morning, I was, it was right about the time I was supposed to say my prayers anyway. You know your morning prayers? Your thank your God for waking me up this morning, right? And Kendrick dropped a song called Euphoria.
And as you say, what reason I have to my father?
And I
Your
think
sister is dead.
When it happened,
murdered.
A lot of people, including me, was like, oh, this is an actual rap beef now in the way that we had in the 90s. These dudes do not like each other. And Kendrick says he hates him in the song. He says, I hate you. He said it a lot. He said, I hate you a lot. He did artistically, but he was like, ooh, I hate you. Ooh. Ooh, I hate you. Ooh, right?
Started Ammo and Quest.
And, oof. It was a lot, right?
Our advertisement already fell the Lord of me somehow.
And then, Drake released. Actually, no, Kendrick released one. He released so many, I actually lost count. So then He released a song that I didn't even get to fully digest because he released, and then Drake released his response, and this was like what Drake had been waiting for. This was like all these, I mean, in my opinion, all these years of like, I was nice to you, and then you came at everybody, including me, and all I'm doing is writing my feelings down in albums and making money, and like, I just want to be number one. I just want to be the best with feelings. I want to be the best. And so he just took everything that he had, and he put it in a song called Family Matters, right? And 20 minutes later...
Yeah, what did he give me?
20 minutes later, Kendrick released a song called Meet the Grams, which is a real play off Family Matters. And he had said in 616 before, he was like, have you ever thought about the fact that like people in your camp are working for me, that everyone hates you so much they feed me information about you, and that there's no way that you're gonna win this because I write so many songs, because all I do is hang out with my wife and my kids and I write, right? This is all that I do. I enjoy this. This is my favorite thing to do, is just sit at home and hate you and write songs about you and how much I hate you. So I can go forever. This will never be over. We can chill. We can just go back and forth, and I'll release 20 for every one that you release. She keeps saying that's a 1v20, and it is. It's one of you, and it's 20 songs of me every single day until the both of us die. This is old black man hate. You got to understand, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen with people under 60 almost ever. This is old. We knew each other during the civil rights movement hate that he brought to this battle. And Drake was like, guys, I thought we were rhyming. And in Meet the Grams, you know, he laid it down. He started the song by talking to Drake's son. Talking to Drake's son, being like, I'm sorry that's your father. Genuinely, I'm sorry that's your father, because I can tell he's not raising you well, because I can tell he's not living a good life and he's not a decent man, okay? And so if you don't understand this right now because you're 6, play it back when you're 18, okay? He said lots of things. He said things that are illegal. He said Drake was doing things that, you can listen to it. Woof. He even had this effect in the song. At the end of the song, when he's like, you lie, he called him a liar several times, and he's like, you lied. I was like, oh, that's too much. And he tells him about himself. He talks to his son, he talks to his dad, he talks to his mom, and then he talks to him directly, right? He also talks to, potentially, a daughter that Drake is not taking care of. Which I was listening to, I was like, not again. I feel like once they find the first kid, you gotta just get all the kids. You gotta just have a whole Graham family, just so you know where everybody is. You know? People go back and forth. Does he have a daughter? Does he not have a daughter? Some people think they've even found the daughter, everything like that. I don't know. I mean, it's really bad. It's so bad. And honestly, I never wanted it to get to a bad place. This is something, I'll talk about this more in the future and everything, but I have a deep love, but a strange relationship with hip-hop, because if everything is in music, it's all good. It's when things leave music that things get bad, you know? And so as much as I joke about Drake and I like Kendrick and I've liked some of Drake's songs, I don't actually want them to do anything to each other, you know what I mean? Now, if what Kendrick is saying about Drake is true, we should lock Drake up. We should lock Drake up. And if what Drake is saying about Kendrick is true, we should lock Kendrick up, all right? Because, you know, it's a rap battle, two dudes that hate each other. Maybe they're lying, who knows? But I'm just saying, this thing, I didn't want to see anything bad happen to either one of them. But when Meet the Grams got released, I don't know what Drake thinks, and I don't know what his life is like, especially right now. But I think back to those battles and those beefs in the 90s, and I wonder if Drake wasn't like, I'd like to be shot, please. Like if you could just plug me one time and then we can smooth the thing over. Because then,
Ahí estás en la puerta.
as if Meet the Grams wasn't enough,
Yeah, bro.
Kendrick released a song called Not Like Us, which is the catchiest way to call somebody a I've ever heard in my life. You be dancing to it forgetting what the song is about. Like, you know.
Ahí está abierto.
And then Drake released The Heart Part 6.
Hey.
And I think that's when he lost. I think, because in The Heart Part 6, he's like, this was all part of my plan. We fed you information about me for you to say, so everything that you said is wrong. And don't you feel dumb now that I tricked you? And it just kind of felt like, you know, like what a kid, okay, you know, like when you play rock, paper, scissors, and you do rock, and the other kid does scissors, and they're like, no, actually, these are lasers. Ba-pow, 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 ba-pow. Because I was like, Drake, if it was part of your plan to feed Kendrick information about you for him to rap about very well, by the way, like even if those are lies, they do sound good and they sound very true. Even if you fed him all this information about you to rap about to then look dumb when it was wrong, why'd you send him that stuff? That's the worst stuff you could send somebody. Hey, tell him this thing about me that's not true but was true once, and tell him I'm a thing that no one wants to be. So now that it's over, because I do hope it's over, I feel like Drake should just release some songs about some feelings.
No, if you insist.
I guess we're all doing better than Diddy.
Oh, what a week. All right, if you don't know, I'll try to bring you up to speed very quickly. Basically, Diddy has been the devil for decades. And it's really only this year that everything's sort of coming to roost, right? It sort of started with a lawsuit brought by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie. And, in the lawsuit is detailing horrific things you will not, like, you will feel sick if you read the lawsuit. And Diddy said it was all a lie. Just nothing but disgusting lies about his character, and he settled the lawsuit the next day. I don't know about you, but I've never been lied on so hard that I was like, you better stop lying about me. I will pay you as much as you want for you to stop telling me all the stuff I supposedly did. I want to make sure that this is, how much does the check need to be? It won't be in escrow. It'll be in a check form in the morning. But I will pay you as much as it takes for you to stop lying before people start looking into what you said because everybody else is saying it. Well, no, it's crazy. And even more recently, more allegations and more investigations have been going into Diddy being an alleged, legally you have to say it, being an alleged sex trafficker and everything, to the point where, this week, the FBI raided all of his houses. All of his houses at once, just to make sure, every single one, at the same time, make sure he wasn't house hopping or anything, just going everywhere. They grabbed all the homes and the homies, and they pulled everybody outside, and it was truly astounding to watch, because if you've ever watched, like, I watch a lot of news, so I remember, like, the Roger Stone raid. Anytime the FBI or Homeland Security does a raid, it's a weird hierarchy that you notice, because they'll show up to do the raid, right? So FBI or Homeland Security, they'll be fitted up. right? Top to bottom, they got the AR-15, they got the vest on, full body armor, they got the boots, they got the helmet, and then sometimes they actually have backup. Backup is SWAT. So then SWAT is also there dressed like SWAT, and we know what SWAT is dressed like. And then it will just be the regular police. And it kind of made me feel bad for the local police because, like, imagine you show up to work and all your coworkers look like Call of Duty that day. And you just have to show up with your chest. That's unfair to them. Like, if I was a cop, I'd be like, y'all ain't got any extra ARs in the trunk or anything. I can't hold something. Y'all just showed up all prepared. Y'all said he dangerous. You know what? I'm gonna wait next to the car. That's what I'm gonna do. Y'all, this is bull. I'm not doing it. Truly, watch any FBI raid. All the local police are next to the cars in the street. They're like, no, they gonna get them. They gonna get them. Oh, you better watch out because they coming, all right? But yeah, they raided all of these houses at one time, pulled people out, were like, interrogating people, were trying to look for stuff in the houses. And meanwhile, a lot of people have been waiting on Diddy's downfall for a long time, so they track his movements. And I want to take a quick second because a lot of people, as this is mainly like a black thing knowing about Diddy. Like, it feels like the world didn't know. But black people, we knew. We were like, nah. Something happening with him that seems off. I don't know if I loved that either. That's just been us for like 2 decades with Diddy just being like, did y'all see that? You know what I mean? And so a lot of other people are catching up. So then there are things, when anything like this comes out, there are things where people ask, like, why is everybody talking about it now, coming forward now, stuff like that. I want to be clear. Diddy is not like a Harvey Weinstein in that way, right? Because with Harvey Weinstein, everyone started coming forward, and then people were like, why didn't y'all say something sooner? Look at him. We would have believed you. Like, we don't do a good enough job of believing women, but with Harvey, I'd be like, whatever y'all say he did, he did. I can just see it from his bill that he did whatever. But Diddy is a very different thing. Diddy is scary. A lot of people are scared of Diddy. And you want to know one of the reasons why people are scared of Diddy? Because of where he comes from. There's gangsters, then there's gangsters. Okay? Diddy's dad has ties to Frank Lucas. If you don't know Frank Lucas is who Denzel played in American Gangster. That's who Diddy's dad hung out with. That's who Diddy's dad did business with. So when you ever rewatch American Gangster and you see that scene when Frank Lucas, Denzel, stands up and in the middle, broad daylight, middle of the sidewalk, a dude disrespects him and he pulls out a gun and he shoots him in the head and kills him in front of everybody because he knows nobody will say anything. That's who Diddy's dad ran with, right? That's who taught him his, like, ABCs and stuff. You know what I mean? When you see that scene, that's a bone-chilling scene because it happened. That happened. He did that. He killed someone broad daylight because he knew no one around would say anything, right? So when you see that scene and you see Denzel do that, just know that one of the extras in the background, at least one of those kids, is Diddy. That's terrific, you know? And that's why people have been so scared of him, because we know that he just moves differently, you know what I mean? And a lot of people have been waiting on his downfall for a long time, so when the FBI was raiding, people were like, where is Diddy? And you know how these kids are now? They're very smart. They can track anything. They track Diddy's plane. And so while the FBI is raiding all of his homes at one time, Diddy's plane is leaving America. And I don't mean getting fueled up. I mean, the plane is over just blue. That's the ocean. The plane is gone, right? And the plane is headed for Antigua. Now, Antigua is still extradite. So a lot of people are like, why would he be going over to Antigua? then other people said, hey, maybe he's landing in Antigua because everybody knows that's his plane. He's going to land in Antigua. He's going to get on a friend's smaller plane, and he's going to go to a country that doesn't extradite, like Bali, right? So then that plane lands in Antigua. It comes right back. When it lands, turns out Diddy was never on the plane. He was in Miami the whole time. This man is a terrible rapper and an incredible villain. I have been... I've been thrown for a loop consistently with him. Like, this man should be in a James Bond movie. You know, a lot of people are just waking up to how Diddy is, you know? We knew. You know how you know that we knew? Diddy's the only black billionaire we didn't root for. It's a very big deal when you get a black billionaire. We're always like, oh, yeah, oh, he did it. You know, I remember when that guy, you know that guy that gave the commencement speech at Morehouse, and at the end of the speech he said he was going to pay for all the kids' student loans. That moment went viral. It was crazy. Kids were crying and everything, jumping up, screaming. I looked it up. I found the guy. His name was Robert Smith. Turns out he's a billionaire. He didn't give me any money, but I was at home like, wait. Diddy became a billionaire. We were like, good for you. I don't know about y'all, but I absolutely love when home drama spills out into the world. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a lot of reality television, so I love when a real life couple just can't take it anymore. Yeah, I mean, like they have to have it out, and they have to have it out now, and now is here, and here is where I am. So I get a free show. You know? I think it happens a lot in New York City because we don't have space. Like, y'all have real homes here. Y'all can be like, we will discuss this later. Like, in New York, we don't have that. We're like, I want to argue in private at home, but home don't have no elbow room. I want to argue where I can move a little bit because I'm passionate with my movements. Now, if I'm arguing at home, one time I was arguing at home, and I went like this to be like, oh, wait, you know, just like to hold it up, and then I hit my elbow, and there's no way to look right when you just stand there like. You know, so sometimes couples just have to have it out in that moment, you know? And I was walking. I try to do this at least once a week. I was on a walk with no AirPods in, right? Just really like be around in the world, you know? And I think it's an important thing to do because it opens you up to what's happening around you. And I would have missed this had I had my AirPods in. I was walking, and as I'm walking, I see this dude bust out of the door of his house, right? He's running down the stoop of his brownstone, no shirt on, anything, looking terrified, like, look. And so I turn and I see what I can only imagine is his girlfriend or wife running behind him. And I was like, all right, this seems awesome. Let's see how it goes. And she has something in her hand, but it doesn't look like a gun, so I'm like, I'm willing to stay and see this through. Because you know, if it's a gun, people get upset, they miss. Now she done shot me, I'm bleeding out. I'm not even part of your love. I'm laying there holding my wound, y'all done worked it out. Like, this could all be for nothing. It's just she's holding something, but I can't see what it is, right? And as he's running down the stoop, she runs down with him, and she gets to this specific step, and then she goes like this, right? She goes like this, and then a piece of what she was holding flies out and hits him in the back, and he goes, and then she lets go of the other thing that she was holding. It slides down the stairs, and when it slides down, it's close enough for me to see. And when I look, It was the sleeve of a Hot Pocket. This woman done burned the hell out of this man with a Hot Pocket. In the known universe, there are about 4 states of matter, right? There's gas, there's liquid, and there's solid. There's also plasma. Now, plasma can reach a temperature of about 45,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and just under that. Close second is Hot Pocket juice. Hot Pocket juice must be studied. This will burn your soul. Hot Pocket juice is far too hot. It is absolute insanity, okay? Because we've all been there. We've all been there where you were hungry, you heat up the Hot Pocket, that's gonna be quick, and then you went ahead and you put it higher than the instructions say, because you know when you follow the instructions, the middle cold. So then you put it at least 2 minutes higher than the instructions say, because you got a different type of microwave. Your microwave doesn't work like the box says. And so you put an extra 2 minutes, but now we're into heated territory that no one, even the people at the company, are aware of, right? And then you pull the Hot Pocket out, you hold it by the sleeve, and you wouldn't even be in this situation if you could just be a gentleman and wait, right? But you're hungry, you're greedy, you can't help yourself, and so you blow, you do blow. You do. You give it a good try, too. You blowing the bread. You're not doing anything for that juice inside. That juice is still bubbling like lava. Wait to bust out. And so then you take your first bite, and because you're hungry, because you're being greedy, you bite too hard, the juice pops out, it hits your lip, and you go, ah! Now you coughing because steam coming out of your mouth because you got the corner bread in your mouth with all the juice burning everything. Burning teeth, just burning. Inexplicably, just burning and burning and burning. It's terrible. This woman was running after this man. We don't know what he did. I didn't stay for an interview. This woman was running down the stairs after this man and had the Hot Pocket sleeve in her hand and reared back like an ancient weapon. Reared back. And flung the Hot Pocket, flung it like she had done it before. Like, she must be burning him weekly to have this sort of aim. If this was a game show, I could never sling it and hit what I wanted to hit. And she hit, not only did she hit him in the middle of the back. She hit him in the spine. So it's in just enough of a position that he can't really reach it. Like it's not here and it's not here. Like this man is fighting for his life right now. She gave him 32nd degree burns. And my man's like, ah, and I want to help, but I'm like, I'm not going to burn my fingers. Like, and then I had never stopped walking the entire time, but I did take off into a brisk jog. Because as he was holding the railing of his stoop, I saw her lift another Hot Pocket. I was like, let me leave before I witness a murder.
Tell me.
I know I'm late to the conversation, but I found out about it late. I don't know how I missed it, but everybody's been arguing over if they'd rather be left in the woods with a man or a bear. It's a thing that started on TikTok, but then everybody's been putting their 2 cents in all across the internet on different platforms. And it's been interesting because I think it originally got posed to women. Would you rather be alone in the woods with a random bear or a random man, right? And I think people were astonished at how many women picked bear because it was a lot. I've actually seen very few videos that weren't bear. Which is shocking. It's like, I don't know, it took me aback. And a lot of dudes on the internet got very upset. They got so angry that they were like, why would you pick a bear? Why wouldn't you what, are you out of your mind? Are you stupid? Why wouldn't you want to be left alone with a random man, you stupid bitch? I don't understand what I'm doing right now. You know? And I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I don't know how in my feelings I was about it, but I was shocked. I was just like, oh, wow, jeez. And then you actually hear people talk about it. You actually hear, women say like, well, the worst thing that, a bear is gonna do is either attack you or leave you alone, right? A man could do so many worse things to you, And then there was one woman, and I think her sentiment was like echoed around all of social. It was just like, she basically said, at least if I got attacked by a bear, people would believe me. Which I was like, ooh. When I heard it, I was like, ooh. Whew.
Subterfuge is
where do you go from there? What do you do next? What do you say to that sort of thing? Because it is true. It's a terrifying truth. It's a very sad truth. If somebody got attacked by a bear and ran up to you, you wouldn't be like, nah. Nah, you good. Like, just, it made me question as guys, because the women were saying men could do all different types of things, right? Bear could just attack or not attack, right? And it made me wonder, like, as guys, what are we doing that women would rather pick a bear? They'd rather risk their entire life than to be left alone with us and, like, hear about a podcast. It's rough stuff. I don't know if y'all saw this Chiefs kicker. This is when it pays to be a sports fan, because I don't even need to explain all of it. But basically, in case you didn't see it, there was a kicker for the Chiefs who gave a commencement speech at a school that, I don't know, maybe he went there. Maybe that's why they wanted him. Seems like kicker is like pretty low on the list of who I want to bring to my school to sit, because this is like the last speech your kids are going to get at education before you send them out into the world, And he gets up there, and at first it didn't seem to be like that weird of a speech. I saw people were messaging me about it, and I was like, what did he say? As I was watching it at first, I was like, what did he say? He's like, oh, just be a strong man, take care of the people around you, have good values, all stuff like that. And then I kept watching. Because at first I was like, man, what's everybody been out of shape about? And then I kept watching, and then he was like, and to all the ladies here, I'm paraphrasing. To all the ladies here with your little degrees, go ahead and have a baby or your life is meaningless. He didn't really say that, but it's how people felt. And it's pretty crazy, because I looked him up afterwards, because I was just like, the weird thing about him is that because he's the kicker, you know he really feels this way. He has the least CTE on the team. These are his true and present values. But then, I looked him up, and apparently, his mom is a physicist.
It's my strong suit.
Which, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I guess to a certain degree he's working something out there. Like, if your mom's a physicist, I can't imagine how many times in your life you've been corrected. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's like, I just want a woman who won't talk to me.
¿Qué sobre? Okay, ahí me llamas cuando llegues al portón.
Yeah, because his mom is a physicist, and he's a kicker. Which means every time he misses, his mom... His mom can tell him exactly how off he was. I want to tell you a journey that I've had. I have become invested, captivated by 1-star reviews. Because this is my thing. Look, if you got 1 star as a company, you should be closed. But I guess legally not enough has happened where somebody had to come close you. So the public is taking it upon themselves to warn each other, hey, this place, no. Because when you see a 1-star review, this thing, 5-star review is like, wow, I had a great experience. I want to support this business. I actually also want to make sure other people have as good of a time as I had, so I'm going to spread the word with a 5-star review. 4 stars is like, okay, I had a good time, but there are a couple things they can improve. Let me let the business know. 3 is unnecessary. Like, 3 is three to me is insane, because 3 is you taking the time to go, meh, and it's like... That feels like psychotic behavior to me. I've never left a 3, all right? I've never left a 3. I go full 5 or 1. I either try to like spread the gospel or warn my friends. 2 is like something happened. 2 is like, look, I would do a 1, but someone there was so sweet that I want to acknowledge how great they were. Because you'll notice a lot of 2-star reviews have something positive in them to a point where I'm like, why isn't this a 4-star review? And then you get to the end and it's like, but there was blood everywhere. And you're like, oh, okay. All right, I got you. So hospitality, check. Wonderful environment, check, but lots of blood in the bathroom. I see why you have a 2 now. I see you were trying to give props, you're trying to be fair. I personally have never read a 1-star review that I didn't wish was longer. One time I was just chilling with Logan and I was reading him 1-star reviews that were making me laugh, and I can't remember what the business was now. I'm blanking on the business, but I think it was like a seafood place. It was like a crab shack. And then there was a 1-star review that just said, this place is a chair. No. Legally, you should have to keep typing. Don't just leave that. I don't know what that means. Like, you can also tell Because some businesses, this is a different, look, I'm digressing, but this is a different point. But you can tell when a business, especially a restaurant, is nasty, not just when it has low reviews, but when it acts like a dude on a date now. You know what I mean? Like they'll be taking pictures of the food, but the pictures of the food too close. Like it's not a picture of the food on the plate, it's just a picture of 3 pieces of rice with some peas in the corner. You're like, that's too close to the food. That means the plate is dirty. A 1-star review is a testament to an experience, you know? I live in New York, so there are a lot of 1-star reviews of a lot of businesses that will never close because they're either fronts or they own the building, so they don't have to worry about rent. But there was my favorite is when a place is permanently closed, but you can still read all the information. Like they haven't shut down the website and the Google reviews are still there. And there was a funeral home. There was a funeral home that had a 1-star review, and I was like, this is my afternoon. Thank you, Google, for picking up the slack. Like I said, every 1-star review leaves you wanting more. There was a 1-star review that just said, they lost my daddy. We don't know where or how long or... They lost my daddy in all caps. 1-star review as a whole is incredible because it means that everyone's experience has been similar, right? Like you'll see places with like a 3.0 and you'll see it really breaks down to like half 1s, half 5s, right? It just depends on the day, what kind of service that they get. 1-star review means everyone agrees, right? And the thing about a business having a 1-star review that blows my mind is I used to live in Chicago. And when I lived in Chicago, I didn't know you could just start a Yelp or a Google review for a place you didn't own. So someone had started like a Google review for Cook County Jail.
Hey! Yeah?
Cook County Jail as a whole
¿Sí le gustó?
had 2 stars.
Ahí te bajo darles de comer a todos.
And it's honestly hard to, like, I've read most of them, right? And one of them was 1 star, right? 1 star. And it just said, the guards are so mean. And then under it, because you know, if you're the business, you can comment under it. So then under it, they were like, you were in jail. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the formerly incarcerated person's side because they didn't refute it. They were just like, this is what we do here. Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. There was a 4-star review for Cook County Jail. It's like, I stayed here, wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, but I did it. And that's a very objective person. That's somebody who's like, well, I did my crime, and this is as jails go, it's pretty good. Like I mean, I don't want to see the business go under. Let me go ahead. Oh, it's incredible. I remember when I started looking at salons, because I go to salons now. I used to go to barbershops, and trying to make that transition. I was just looking up Google reviews for places, and I got taken on a beautiful journey. Because all these places, especially like anybody knows who is like trying out a place for the first time. Like when you go to get your hair done, you really putting your life in somebody else's hands. And that's all of us, whether you're going to a barbershop, salon, whatever. Because I've got bad haircuts before. I've got haircuts that left me looking like... They just left me looking like I don't know how to take care of myself, and now I gotta wait till my hair grow back a little bit to look even again. You know? I went to the website of this salon, and I saw all the like beautiful designs of the braids that they do, the variety that they do and everything. So then I went to the bottom of the website, and it says we're currently not taking clients, right? Which happens sometimes. But I went to their Google just to check if maybe they don't update the website. Because I was like, let me call because maybe something's changed. Right? When I get to their Google profile, I just go ahead and I'm like, let me look at the reviews just to check, because all this stuff is beautiful in the picture, but these could be Google images. So I'm reading lots of 5 stars, lots of 4 stars. Overall, they have a 4.7 as a business. So I'm like, they're crushing it. But I do see a 1-star review, and I'm like, well, let me. Because you don't want to count out a 1-star reviews experience, because that means that whatever happened, as long as they're not lying, whatever happened, happened. And it could happen to you, right? So I'm reading it, and it's like, staff was so rude, I booked an appointment, they were trying to act like they didn't know who I was, and they sent me out, right? And I was like, wow, that seems weird. Because the business can comment underneath their comment. The business said, Chandra, you need help. Chandra, you need help. You tried to fool us and showed up as if you had an appointment, even though it says on our website we are not currently taking clients. You said that you talked to someone that we don't employ about an appointment and then sat in the chair demanding. I was like, fair enough, wow. That's amazing. I guess you can't trust every 1-star review, but wow. I tried to go and they were not taking clients. Like I had a very similar experience to Chandra. I was just like, it's like, I don't know, what have I tried? I don't know, maybe I could be slick. And they were like, sir.
What?
I am very happy to be here and not at home in New York where I live, because I don't know if you heard, but New York City had an earthquake today, which, you know, would be terrifying if it wasn't already New York City. There's so much happening in New York all the time. It's fun to think about where everybody was during that earthquake, you know? There's a lot of crime in New York. Somebody was getting robbed during that earthquake. Somebody was in the middle of like, give me everything. Don't move! No. Some people were in their apartment. Apartment shakes. Buildings are so old and decrepit, they're like, I knew it was gonna collapse one day. I was just hoping I'd be at work when it did, but it's an odd thing, you know? Maybe somebody is visiting New York. They just got there. Very excited. And you know that annoying type of, oh Lord, okay. Not talking about you. It just sounded like so much stuff. Like that, it's clearly more than one plate. Oh, but maybe somebody just got there and they're very excited. They're like, ooh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get some street food. I'm gonna get an authentic New York hot dog. This is gonna be amazing. And then earthquake hits. And then they are covered in hot dog water. It'd honestly be the most New York experience they could have. Another thing, I think enough time has passed that I can talk about it without it being awkward. Like, one of the weirdest things to me about 2020 in general was, you know how there's bunker people? There are people that save up a bunch of money to build a bunker in different types. Some people build a bunker underground. Some people have a different location they're going to go to if things hit the fan and everything. Some people have like a whole site that they've built and stuff. And we've always, for years, for decades, made fun of them, right? It's something that started in the Cold War because they were so sure that the Russians were going to bomb us that they started to make bunkers, and it was a normal thing. Then, as those sort of fears started to disappear a little bit, it became less common. But then there were some people who were still like, guys, something's wrong. Some bad things could happen. So they made bunkers, but then they started making it with, you know, their personal wealth and everything. And we made fun of them all the time, you know? And then 2020 hits, global pandemic that affects everyone in every country. And almost all the bunker people were like, that shit ain't real. But you built in case the whole world. Can I go in the bunker? Oh, man. I've been thinking a lot about just the general power of marketing, of ads and everything. And I don't know about y'all, but I always feel like I'm smarter than ads. Like, I always feel like, that's an ad. I can see it. That's product placement. You can't fool me. You're not going to get me. That's an ad. And I always feel like I'm better than advertising, like I'm above it all. But I do have a bunch of stuff that I don't use, that I don't really remember why I got it. You know? And I think it's something that we need to pay more attention to, just the power of marketing, how influential it is, you know? Like imagine a world where you work at some sort of agency, right? An ad agency, whatever, some type of marketing agency. And not now, right? Let's go even further back to when people were paying even less attention to ads and they were served less of them every day, right? Let's say, you know, 70s, 80s maybe, and you're working at this agency. And you go in one day to work, just any regular day. And let's say you're like co-VP or something like that. You're high up there, right? And then you get into the building and everybody crying. You don't know why. People are walking out with those, you know, those cardboard boxes specifically for when you're fired. Everybody down there shaking, walking about, running out and everything. And you're like, what happened? And no one's even answering you. As you pass by people, you're like, what happened? They're like, then you get to your office, maybe you share an office with somebody, and so you look at your partner and you're like, hey, what's everybody so upset about? What happened? Right? And then he's devastated. He's like, oh, it's horrible. One of our biggest accounts, top accounts, right? It's one of our top accounts, Kool-Aid, that some cult grabbed some Kool-Aid and they put a bunch of cyanide in it. They did like a mass thing. I don't know, the client is freaking out, you know. People may never buy the product again. We don't know what to do. This could be the end for us, because if they close, we close, right? And then you, being the brilliant marketing agent that you are, you stand there in the moment that this is happening. The day that the news has reached your office and you're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's lean into it. They drank the Kool-Aid. It's just that good. You think about it. Any other product, any other time frame, that product would be done. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of people killed themselves with Snickers. I don't know if we would all be like, you're not you when you're hungry. You know what I mean? That's the power. To this day, even after a tragedy like that, to this day, people be at the barbecue like, pass me some of that red. That's some good stuff. You know? And the thing about it is that on its own, it's not bad, right? On its own, you're just trying to sell something, you're just trying to make a buck, and maybe it's something that people will like. In an ideal world, all the marketing leads the people to what they want anyway, right? But it doesn't always work that way, because we found that the easiest way to make money is to make people feel like they don't have something, to make them feel less. So then if I'm less, maybe this thing will make me more and it'll make me enough, right? Because if we never feel like we're enough, then we always need a little something else, right? And that's how they make money. If you were always content all the time, no one would be able to sell anything to you, you know? And so on its face, it's not bad what they're doing. But when they're all doing it at the same time, and it's most of what you see, when it's ads all the time being like, you're not this, you could be this, you could be better, right? It just starts to make you feel terrible. It starts to make you feel like you don't matter at all. And I hope one takeaway that you have from the show, not just laughing, I hope that you walk away from the show feeling like you matter as a person, right? Because you do. It's very important that you feel like you matter, that you have influence, because you do, right? A world where you think you don't matter terrifies me, because it means that all of the little pieces, all the interactions that you're supposed to be having with other people are going to be missed out on because you think you don't matter, right? Like we all sometimes feel like a little cog, like a little bolt, just in a big piece of machinery, right? Because the bigger picture is bigger than all of us. But you are so important. Even if you feel like you're that little bolt, you're very important. It's not the same without you. I hope you understand that. You're as important as every bolt on the door of a Boeing plane. Because maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe at the factory when they were building the plane, you know, they didn't screw the bolt down all the way, so then the little bolt's like, do I even matter? If they don't care, why should I care? Then mid-flight, it's like, I give up. I don't care. And then the door flies open, you're like, oh! What the hell? Because you're the window seat. And now you got the CEO of Boeing, David Calhoun. It's important to say their names. No, it is. They always just get to move like these faceless people that don't do anything and then get to enjoy their money. It's like, no, his name is David Calhoun, and we should all know it and say it and hopefully find him. Just to chat. You know? But no, he's stepping down. And I don't know. I don't like that. He's stepping down now, and I think that should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to go. You should have to stay until it's fixed. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy that you messed it up. And now you're leaving with a severance package, by the way. With a, you know, articles call it a golden parachute. How ironic. You get to leave, but you messed the whole thing up. You know? And I know he's not fully alone, but he's the lead. You know, when you're the CEO, you're the captain. You know? And he gets to leave? That's crazy. And he gets to leave richer for messing it up. That's mind-blowing. He should have to stay until it's fixed. This should be the last job he's allowed to ever have. Until it's fixed. You know? And if it closes, then no more work for you. And by no more work, I don't mean you get to go off and enjoy. I mean, you will not make another dollar for the rest of your life. You need some stakes to be in the game, you know? Because I had a friend actually take up for the process. I had a friend be like, but Josh, now that he's stepping down, someone good could step in. Someone that cares, someone that could fix the thing. And I'm like, are you brand new? Like, what? In what world is that going to happen? That's so crazy. I told him the same thing I'm going to tell you now. Imagine you're on a flight, right? Middle row, middle seat. You're not having a good life. And you're on this flight, and during the flight, you feel this incredible turbulence. And I'm not talking about those air pockets where you drop a little bit. I'm talking about you're hearing noises you've never heard before. It's just like terrifying stuff, all happening at one time. And it's not just like a little bump, bump, bump. You're swinging, you're slamming into things and everything. Those air masks drop down. You know, the ones that definitely don't work. I hate that part of the demonstration so much, by the way. They always put the thing on and everything, and then they're like, the mask may not inflate, but oxygen is still flowing. It's like, that sounds like something you'd say to a dead person. That's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. The mask may not inflate at all, but I promise it's still working because you won't be able to tell anyone it didn't. Mind blowing. No, I swear.
Easy enough.
No. But let's say that's happening. You're in it. They're screaming, people crying, people praying, people tearing up and everything. And in the midst of all this turbulence, the cockpit door swings open. And the captain walks out. And the captain doesn't walk out to say, hey, everybody, we have it under control. Please don't panic, right? Captain doesn't come out there to say, look, the PA system broke. I just want to tell you myself, we're all going to make it. We're all going to be okay. I'm going to make sure we make a safe landing, right? The cockpit swings open and the captain comes out to say, I've decided to resign from my position as your captain. It's been an honor, but I can no longer uphold the standard of this plane, and so I will be leaving. Wearing a parachute, by the way. He's wearing a parachute while he's talking to you. He's wearing a parachute while he's talking to you, because I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I know I messed everything up, but I'll be okay, okay? And then he jumps out of the already open door. No, shouldn't be allowed.
I can likely provide, I assure you.
I feel very, very blessed to be here with all of you. I've been very excited to come here. This is a blessing for us to all be together, you know? Some people couldn't be here. Some people didn't wake up today. What I just said could apply to anyone. If you haven't heard, OJ has passed. Yeah, you can tell by the. You can just tell. Okay, this. You can tell by the excitement that some people have how they felt during the trial. Do you know what I mean? There's a couple people that have been so happy. I'm like, oh, I know where you stood back in the day. Wow. Okay. I finally got it. You know. Which is crazy, because when you look at like OJ's feed when he was posting, there had been this rumor that he was actually in hospice care earlier this year, and then there's a video of him in his car, which someone is obviously filming the video, and he rolls down the window and everything, and he's like,
Subterfuge.
hospice? Hospice? Me? No, I'm doing very well. And so if he was doing very well, and now he's dead, do you think somebody... I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of funny. Just feels a bit weird, you know what I mean? Like, he just seemed like one of those people that would just be around forever. Not in a way that I'm like, oh, I'm excited that he's around. Just like, every once in a while you would see a tweet from him or you'd see something and you'd be like, oh yeah, OJ is out. You know what I mean? And I say out because he did go to jail, just not for the thing we know him for. That's my biggest disappointment with OJ. You think after getting away with murder, you lay low. You know what I mean? Like, this is the time to play it cool, okay? You just got away with the most public we've ever seen. Like, the whole nation was watching, and then they said not guilty. And then you were like, let's roll the dice again. But now he's gone. And it's gotta be weird. Like, him and Nicole are gonna have a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm joking. They definitely didn't go to the same place. I've had like a journey on the internet as far as having it, right? Because I pretty much got internet the way that we have it now, and it wasn't even the way that we have it now when I was little. I got internet in like a all access type of way when I was like 11. So I was little, but there weren't things that I had before me. Like, before, if you went back further than that, you'd have to like know how to code and stuff. 11 was when I could like get on the internet and type in boobs.com. And it's
killings and disappearances here as of late.
The internet has brought so many people together in the best and worst of ways, right? Because it used to be, before the internet, if you wanted community, you had to go out, you had to find your sort of like tribe of people, but on a more like, on a more mindful level, you had to find your people, right? And it was very hard. It was very hard for a lot of people with specific interests, and it was very hard for a lot of people who were struggling with specific things. That's why it's like from 2000 and on that like every type of struggle, it feels like, is known and talked about. Because, yeah, you might have a bunch of friends who have just never been through the thing that you've been through, but now that you can look it up, now that you can find people. And so message boards took off. Message boards were like this forum for everyone that believed in or liked the same thing. It was instant common ground, you know? And it was before the sort of like platforms, really. So you didn't have to worry, like if you were on a forum about a video game that you liked, you didn't have to worry about anybody making fun of you for liking the video game. It's why we're all here. And so there was this real community that started up. And it's tough when you're a kid because you're so alone when you're a kid in a very specific way. Because as a teenager, you're going through all the things teenagers go through, but you're going through them specifically as you. So no one knows what it's like to be you exactly. And so you do feel alone, even if you're surrounded by people. But sometimes, because you can impose so much on this faceless type, this faceless text, you feel like the people on the forum get you. And so then you feel like, okay, if people get me, I must not be crazy. If people get me, I must not be completely wrong in who I am, right? And that's pretty much how you get incels. because this is the thing. This is one of the wildest things about incels that I don't think anybody talks about. Incels, at least in their thinking, is actually weirdly, counterintuitively, quite reasonable. Because incels are like, no one wants to fuck me. And then the world is like, yeah. It's actually the dudes who aren't incels that go out and try every night that are the delusional ones. Like, all right, I've been striking out 600 days in a row, but tonight is my night. I put on extra cologne so I know that the ladies will be all over me. Oh. No, it feels weird. Even the lore of how things get started. Like I'm telling you what I heard. I don't know the full ins and outs of this thing. I'm just telling you the way that I heard it, which to me makes sense. Okay, so to the best of my knowledge from the stories that I've heard, one thing that I do find funny, and it's actually the same thing as like how cults start a little bit. So way back in the day, still in kind of the forum era, but we were starting to have social platforms where like anybody could get on. There were these guys who were all divorced, right? Like by and large divorced, or were not married but like had some sort of weird situation. They couldn't see their kids, you know? And so then they banded together because it's a very specific pain, I would imagine, to not be able to see your kid as a dad. Because by and large, maybe because so many of us did do it this way, it feels more reasonable to do it this way. But a lot of people feel like, nobody really needs a dad. I'm telling you, a lot of people feel that way, genuinely. And I'm not saying that as in like a judgment on anybody. I'm just saying like, if you're like, oh, my dad left, people are like, what else? Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't carry the weight it would have carried in the 50s. Your dad left. You know what I mean? It's like, my dad's not around, and people are like, yeah, so any other revelations? Like, and so I think that sometimes when there's almost an expectation like that, then people who do care, who can't be as involved as they want, feel a very real pain. And they were the only people who understood each other. So they would talk and they would talk and they would talk. And where they messed up, like if I had been there back in the day, if I had been in that forum, what I would have said is like, just careful with the name. The name makes everything. Because then they banded together as like a group, and they were like, let's try to get some laws passed so that we can like see our kids, you know? It feels like family court is against us. And so then they called themselves men's rights activists. And I was like, bruh. You should have said dads. Dude, dads would have cooked. We'd be like, dads that want to see their kids? Protect these men. Protect all 8 of them. You know what I mean? But because they said men, now men who don't even have kids are joining the group. And because people are joining the group, joining the forum that are not there for the specific cause, for the specific reason that they came together over this pain, it starts to morph into something else. So now these guys that are like, I just want to see my kids, are also being like buried in the comments of the forum by people being like, I can't get a date. Like, these bitches crazy, right? And so ironically, a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them, maybe they were angry. Maybe they were going through a divorce. Maybe they were bitter at their ex-wife or women in general for not being able to see their kid. But they could also see what was happening, right? They could see like what this thing was turning into. What used to be a genuine support group is turning into like a weird, it's just a weird hang. Do you know what I mean? Like, you never want to be surrounded by angry men. Even as an angry man. I've been mad as hell before, but anytime too many of my buddies are also mad, I start to calm down. I start to be like, all right, well, we don't want to burn anything down. Feels like y'all want to do something different. Okay. But yeah, Yeah, it started to happen where like, be like, you know, couldn't get the visitation that I wanted. I feel like the judge hated me when I walked in. And instead of more comments underneath like that, I've had that experience. And don't give up. It's not over. There's always things that you can do. Hey, just try to work it out with her, you know? You can get more visitation with her permission. You know, like things that were genuine support started to be buried by like, man, these bitches want whole meals. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe they want you to take them out and pay. This shit is crazy. And then eventually, some of the, not all, but some of the earliest members of the forum are like, I started this thing because I'm trying to see my kids. And a lot of y'all seem crazy as hell. And I want to see my kids. So I'm a bounce. And so then, just like that, it was kind of gone. Like the heart of this thing, the reason, the sort of nugget that brought it all together had disappeared. And all that was left was this mob that had gathered with different grievances. You know? And that's how you get red pill stuff today. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing about red pill that's so appealing is that anyone telling you it's not your fault is probably going to get your attention. It's one of the most, it's honestly one of the most appealing arguments someone can make. If you're unhappy with your life and they come to you and they say, hey, none of this is your fault. Even as a defense mechanism, you're like, I'm listening, all right? And even red pill in and of itself is like starting to like eat itself. Because there's no basis around what it's really about. It's not really about community. It starts to just become this weird thing, you know? Like I've heard some of the most insane arguments ever. And I don't even think I'm thinking about the stuff you're thinking about. You're thinking about the surface level. I'm talking about deep. Like when a red pill podcaster really starts to cook.
Let us speak and be done with
like, I can't believe y'all out here having kids. That shit, y'all having kids, I don't know. Just something about like you had a daughter? That's gay, dog. Are you serious? You had a daughter? You had a daughter? That shit gay as hell, for real, man. That means you cum girls. Pause, dog. Nah. We ain't doing that over here. Are you serious? But no, when I was a kid, I go over to my buddy's house, and you know, his grandparents had been together for 60 years. That's a long time. 60 years of marriage, by the way, not knowing each other, not being cute. 60 years, right? Their fights were epic. Their fights were amazing. You know, because at 60 years, you let it all out. You know what I mean? Because at 60 years, you just say what's on your mind, because what are they going to do? Leave? Me and my boy be in the other room, and we'd hear, oh, I should have married your brother. And he was like, oh, okay, then my brother want to blow his brains out. All right. Married 60 years. Crazy stuff, right? And basically, his granddad was going deaf very quickly. He was losing his hearing rapidly, but he didn't want to wear hearing aids because he didn't like how they made him feel, right? And I don't mean just the fit in the ear. I mean like he didn't like how he could hear so little naturally, and then he put him in and could hear across the street. Just made him feel like Daredevil without the rest of them. And I remember one time I was hanging out at their house and we heard his grandma yelling all around the house. And then she came into the room where we were at because his granddad was watching us. And she was like, why won't you just wear some hearing aids? Okay? I got to yell your name all through the house. Then I got to yell when I get in the room and I even find you. I'm yelling all the time. Surprised I'm not losing my voice. Why can't you just wear your hearing aids so you can hear me when I'm talking to you? I feel like you don't listen to anything I say because you can't hear me talking to you. And you just saw him slowly start to smile. It's honestly the most boss move I've ever seen in my entire life. This dude was like, I will go deaf if it means I know peace, all right? I have no problem. And one time, I was over at their house and his grandma was watching us. And we were being quiet. So I don't know if she was saying this to us or to herself, but out of nowhere, she broke the silence. And she was just like, that nigga hear me.
Everything is great, and it was a very normal weekend. The president is sane, and the country is in good hands. For more on this, it's time for I'm Just With You. Donald Trump is threatening a trade war with multiple countries and plunging us into a constitutional crisis. He's waging a full-scale takeover of the government by purging prosecutors and law enforcement officials and handing over control of sensitive government programs and Americans' private data to unelected oligarchs and fifth-year senior who wasn't invited to the sleepover but showed up anyway, Elon Musk. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. We're 3 weeks into the Trump presidency, and already he's plunged the entirety of the federal government into chaos. And I know you've probably heard the words Trump and chaos in the same sentence many times over the past 10 years, and, maybe you're skeptical. Well, then, you tell me, hotshot! Mr. Know-It-All. Sorry. You know what? I don't know why I'm getting so aggressive right off the bat. You tell me, dear sir or madam, what, pray tell, would you call this?
The Trump team promised shock and awe to start his second term. 2 weeks in, the shocks keep coming.
Administration officials have forced out all 6 of the FBI's most senior executives and multiple heads of various FBI field offices.
Trump fired at least 17 inspector generals.
More than 24 federal prosecutors who worked on January 6 cases were fired.
Sparking panic inside the Bureau by people who fear retribution by the Trump administration.
More than 1,000 senior civil workers and contractors were fired, furloughed, or placed on leave. USAID's website has been offline for more than 24 hours.
Putting a pause on most federal government websites. The Department of Education, a number of people have been placed on administrative leave.
Several federal agencies were instructed to remove pronouns and, in some cases, nicknames from their email signatures.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement reported an undisclosed number of arrests in Chicago, with the acting Deputy Attorney General, the Trump ally, Dr. Phil.
President Donald Trump did order water released from 2 dams in the Central Valley,
claiming more water would have helped with the LA wildfires, wasting reservoir supplies that farmers will need later. The water was released into rivers that do not flow to Los Angeles.
I thought you were just going to lower the price of eggs. What is all this other... It's like hiring a handyman to fix your toilet. When you come back, he's pulling out the fixtures, rerouting the pipes, and replacing your shower with a jacuzzi that also doesn't work. Oh, and the toilet's still clogged. I'll get to it right after I burn down your garage. Trump is dismantling the government like he's hacking away at a stolen Benz in a chop shop. Meanwhile, egg prices are soaring